Tony Khan. Feel like he is the fucking official mascot of Off the Script here, man. Every single thing that I read, every single AEW situation that I read, man, I just go back and look at Tony Khan and I say, I don't really understand how clueless this man is. I don't get it. Toni Storm returned to AEW on Dynamite Wednesday after Mariah May defeated Mina Shirakawa to retain the AEW Women's Championship. She showed up at the end of the match. She comes back under her old rocker gimmick. What is old is new again. No more timeless Toni Storm. And that's the way the show went off the air. So it looks like we're building towards either Mariah and Thunder Rosa at World's End, because Thunder Rosa was in the crowd holding up some meme signs. I don't know if they got something going on there. And then obviously we all know, if you guys watch the product, AEW's got this Australian show coming up, and it looks like Tony and Mariah may be the main event of that show, and we crown Toni Storm as the new women's champion once again. That kind of makes sense to me. But then the news broke after Dynamite that Toni Storm's return and her return match is taking place on Rampage Friday. Yes, the show that is about to be canceled in 3 weeks. The show that is completely dead and has been dead since the CM Punk episode. The show is dead. The show is watched by nobody. Nobody in the wrestling space gives a legit fuck about AEW Rampage. But here we are. So I went on social media and I said this in regards to Toni Storm and her debut taking place on AEW Rampage. And look at the time that I tweeted what I said about Toni Storm. This was yesterday morning in regards to what happened here. Imagine booking your most popular superstar in the entire division and her return on a dead show that only the biggest losers care about. Toni is fucking clueless. This should undoubtedly be promoted for their A show. You already booked Cardona for that show. He's going one-on-one with Brian Keith, by the way. Why do you need Toni Storm? And that is what I put on social media yesterday, right before lunchtime, 11:57 a.m. That's what I put on social media. Now I hear from Brian Alvarez and the Wrestling Observer that people in AEW are appalled by recent booking decisions at Tony Khan, most notably this one. While speaking on Observer Live, Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez discussed the backstage reaction to the booking decision of Storm working Rampage in her first match back. Brian Alvarez says this, and I quote, "Hey, you called it during the break. There are people that will argue anything. Do you know how many people I talked to in AEW yesterday? And every last single one of them was aghast. Aghast might not even be the right word. Appalled that Toni Storm's return is happening on Rampage. Meanwhile, leave it to the fans, leave it to the wackos who say this is a great idea. He's got to give his fans a worthwhile show those last 3 weeks of the canceled show," says Brian Alvarez. Meanwhile, there's actually other shows that aren't going to be canceled. Like, God forbid we put this return on Collision or maybe Dynamite, or how about World's End? Alvarez continued, "I swear to God this is true. You could have had 200 people lined up outside Tony Khan's door last night. One by one, all 200 of them could have gone in there and said, this idea is stupid. Do you want to know what would happen at the end of the night? He'd still have done it, because that's what happens. People argue things with him every single week, and at the end of the day, Tony Khan does whatever he wants." Gee, man, that sounds familiar. Gee, man, that sounds eerily familiar to one Vince McMahon. And who was the first one who started coining the phrase, Tony Khan is basically Vince McMahon without the sexual allegations? You're looking at him. How many more stories do you need for me to be proven more and more factually correct every single time we talk about what Tony Khan does as far as a creative move? And how nobody is going to get through to him, and how nothing is going to change, and how Eric Bischoff said last week, no hope for AEW. Factually, 100% spot on. You know, what I find funny, and I'm gonna go and place the finger of blame on Tony. I am. I'm also going to place the finger of blame on everybody that works in and around Tony Khan who don't have the fucking balls to really stand up for what is right and say, boss, bro, what are we doing? This is not a good decision. Not a good decision. I don't know why Tony thinks this is a good idea. Only Tony knows why it's a good idea. Nobody will ask him on it. Nobody will challenge him on it because they're all fucking scared to lose whatever media access that AEW provides. They don't care. Nobody cares. All these fluff content creators, they don't give a fuck about anything. They don't. All they care about is lining their own fucking pockets and lining their fucking dead channels with fucking views that are fucking pathetic. Pathetic. It is so fucking sad how people sell out for a single drop of notoriety in this community, all because they get to rub elbows with the fucking people that they see on television, man. You are fucking pathetic. Pathetic. And it makes me, as a fucking true, genuine, honest, upfront content creator, it makes my fucking skin crawl, is what it makes me do, man. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. And if I'm fucking feeling feisty, I'll put some fucking graphics up that you guys can hear me yelling over as far as what I think of this fucking community and the pathetic numbers that they're pulling in, all to shill themselves out. For what? A dying product ran by a fucking multi-billionaire who don't give a fuck about anybody but himself. And the people there that work with him, they couldn't be bothered because all they care about is the fucking money that he's lining in their pockets. And they won't want to do anything to risk that easy money coming in. Oh, it's good, Tony. It's a good idea, Tony. That's a great idea, Tony. I think Toni Storm coming back on Rampage is fucking great. We got to give the fans something to hang their head on for 3 weeks left to go for this dead fucking show. I don't really understand how a decision like this is brought to somebody. Yeah, it's a good idea, man. I don't get it. And then you wonder why I say what I say, and then you wonder why I do what I do. Yet I gotta get fucking flack. Always a grifter, always a hater, always this, always that. Why do you make things personal? Why do you always yell at Tony Khan? Why do you call him a clueless hack? Because he's a fucking clueless hack. He's a clueless fucking hack. He's a fucking idiot. How many times do we need to tell him what is right and what is wrong? And how many times is he not gonna listen to us? Once upon a time, he did listen to us. Now he doesn't give a fuck anymore. He don't care. Toni Storm is the most valuable and the most over woman in that entire division. And you bring her back to debut her return as this rocker Tony away from Timeless on a fucking show that does less than 200,000 viewers every single week, that has absolutely nobody in the 18 to 49 demo watching, and that will be canceled in 3 weeks when we turn the calendar over to 2025. How is that a sound, creative move? Why? I would genuinely be curious to know why nobody is pushing him on this in the community. He's interviewed by this one, that one, this one, that one. He's got fucking 16 burner accounts. I know he sees the criticisms. Where are they? Where are all the usual suspects out there, man? I don't hear nothing. I don't see nothing, man. Everything's great in AEW. Everything's great in AEW. Tony Khan should be ashamed of how AEW has ended this year. Since All In, this has been the worst year of AEW in its existence. Terrible. Nothing can be saved. There is no hope. And I don't see any change coming in 2025. You could hype up simulcasting. You could hype up this. You could hype up that. Stadium shows, Texas, whatever the fucking case may be, man. Fucking Costco family. Get the fuck out of here, man. Are you out of your fucking mind? Everything else that needs to be a priority, it's not. All the things that need to be fixed, they're not. No, but as long as he flies fucking, boom, to Globe Life Field on the private jet, everything is fucking going great in AEW. This woman's the biggest name in your entire division, and then that's how you treat? Perception is everything, you fucking hack. Perception is everything. Same thing about Jamie Hayter, debuting her, right? Or having her return, show up at All In on the fucking pre-show, which was forgotten by the time the actual show started. How many people complained that I complained about that? I'm still waiting for my apology based on that one story. Who was right again, sickos? It's the guy that you deem, oh, he's not for us anymore, man. He's against us. I'm only trying to help you fucking idiots out. That's what you don't understand. I'm trying to help you out. This woman is the biggest name in your division. She should be treated as such, and her return should not be on fucking Rampage. Should be on the A show only or at World's End. That's it. I don't understand why we're bringing her back on a show. Nobody's going to watch. Nobody's going to see it. Nobody's going to care about it. But Tony cares. Tony saw it. That's all that matters. Everything else, everybody else, doesn't matter in this situation. Appalled? I've been appalled with AEW Creative since fucking All In. Nothing has changed, and there is no light at the end of the tunnel for it to get better. Zero.